In this video, what I'll be talking about is how you could save money on the ketogenic diet. But bear in mind that this is an updated version of how you could save money on the ketogenic diet, the same topic of a video I made some time ago. The purpose of this video is that in my last video covering the exact same topic is that I honestly felt that I was not elaborate enough, going deep enough into detail. So to jump right into my topic without any further digression, I'll explain how you save money on the ketogenic diet. First of all, speaking in general terms, I could relate to everybody. Speaking for mostly people who are watching this video living in the United States. I can't speak for other countries because, I've never lived there. So I'm just gonna try to relate this topic to a majority of viewers, assuming that those who are watching live here in the United States. But anyway, speaking in general terms, as I am making this video now, it's March 2025, and speaking generally, as I mentioned before, we could all relate to the type of times we're living in. Speaking in regards to primarily grocery prices, grocery prices are just skyrocketing everywhere you go. Maybe there's a Lucky's, a Kroger's, a Safeway, there's perhaps a Foodsco or a Wenco, depending on where you live. But it does not matter what grocery store you go to. Prices are very similar, meaning that what you would pay for meat or chicken is just as much per pound at one store as it is at all other stores. And not only prices are skyrocketing per pound for produce and meats in grocery stores, but also in wholesale stores such as Costco and Sam's Club. Just to give you a very brief example, last week when I was at Costco, before taxes, I paid $22.45, I believe it was, for 5 dozen eggs. And after federal and state taxes cleared out the door, I was probably looking at $25 for 5 dozen eggs. So, without any further digression, to explain how you'll save money being on the ketogenic diet is first thing you would do is, if you would follow it correctly, you would lower all the carbohydrates. And what are all the carbohydrates? Well, I'll give you a few examples. What you would be willing and determined to do, if you're willing and determined, is you would cut out all the foods that are extremely high in carbohydrates. And I'll just throw some examples out there, which are my preference. Perhaps my preference can relate to your preference, but these are examples that we could perhaps relate to. You would eliminate granola bars, cookies, even oatmeals, pasta, both refined wheat bread and white bread. You would be eliminating perhaps Doritos, Frito-Lays, Lay's plain chips, Lay's barbecue chips. You would even eliminate even the high carbohydrate foods that are considered healthy. Also these so-called keto protein bars by Atkins, which has a maltodextrin corn syrup that has hidden starches. And all of this has been confirmed by Dr. Eric Berg, who keto has proven numerous times on several occasions throughout so many of his videos that a lot of these so-called healthy foods have all these refined and artificial ingredients in them that could cause cancer, and they're inflammatory ingredients. And majority of ingredients in these so-called healthy snacks could cause a great deal of damage to the body in the long run. But it's not going to happen right away the minute you eat it. But to explain how me personally I save money on the ketogenic diet is that I believe everything Dr. Eric Berg, um, I believe everything he has taught throughout his videos, that it is true that an excessive amount of protein uh, will um, will trigger insulin as well as higher carbohydrates. But speaking mostly on high protein, the way you save money on that is because if you're going to be eating less of it, that means that even though no matter what meat you buy per pound, whether if it's pork, fish, uh, chicken, or red meat, regardless of the fact that those prices might be higher per pound, you're going to be eating less of it. And by that, I mean you're going to be eating, you're going to be eating a moderate amount, not an amount that's going to make you extremely full to where you're tired and I can't get up anymore. We're not talking about that. We're only talking about just enough amount of protein that will suffice, that will keep you satiated. And another way you would save money being on the ketogenic diet is if you're really willing and determined and go through it all the way without any wavering, you would eliminate all those snacks from your grocery list. As I mentioned, the granola bars, even yogurt that has high fructose syrup, cereal bars. You would eliminate cereals. You would eliminate, as I mentioned, I don't mean to digress, mostly breakfast foods. You would eliminate refined whole wheat bread and whole wheat. I'm sorry, you would eliminate whole wheat bread, refined, and white bread, which is also refined. Because the reason why is because not only would you want to do ketogenic diet, but perhaps, depending on the type of individual you are, perhaps you might want to implement and incorporate intermittent fasting, which is pretty much skipping breakfast and going directly to lunch at 12 o'clock. Your next meal will be 6 p.m. And without snacking, you would try to go through the next day from 6 p.m. till 12 noon the next day. And the whole idea is jumping from each meal without snacking. Because just as Dr. Eric Berg has proven and has confirmed, every time you snack, you raise and you influence or you trigger insulin. I know that because I'm living proof. I mean, it's hard to tell my body weight because I'm simply sitting down. But when I first began the ketogenic diet, I weighed 190 pounds. I started it back in April 2024. Okay, 190 pounds in April 2024. It's March 2025 as I am making this video now, and I weigh 169 pounds. So we're talking about a 21-pound decrease and differential here. I mean, not only is all I'm saying is that not only is Dr. Eric Berg confirmed his claims, but what I'm also saying is that I'm living proof that the ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting incorporated and implemented, I'm living proof that it has worked. And I'll go as far as to say that I will declare that the ketogenic diet is the ultimate diet that dominates all diets. Because it is very true. You know, the fats from a pig, from olive oil, from bacon, red meat fat, uh, pork fat, um, fat from salmon with the skin. It's proven to be very, very stable, and it's a more a reliable source of energy as opposed to glucose and sugar being a source of energy. Because you know, as we all know from personal experience, we all know that eating refined foods, especially sugar that's high in glucose and high in fructose and high in sugar and carbohydrates, what it causes is it gives you this crash effect, meaning that it makes you feel good while you're doing your workout and it sustains you. What I'm saying is that sugary and high carbohydrate foods only sustain you for a shorter amount of time, whereas fat gives you a sustained energy for a longer amount of time. But I'm sorry I had to digress, but I just wanted to make that a very key point to that. So that's pretty much how you would be saving money living in these types of times we're living in with grocery and food products skyrocketing at both the wholesale stores, Sam's Club and Costco, and the grocery stores, Safeway, Kroger, Winco, Foodsco, Lucky's, uh, grocery outlet, bargain market. The point I'm primarily trying to make is that you will be eating less by virtue of the fact that you would still be eating and enjoying your proteins such as fish, red meat, chicken, pork, and bacon, and other types of meats. You will be saving money because even though you might stock up on it and stick it in the freezer, it will last you longer. Because if you're willing to go through this ketogenic diet all the way, you'll be eating it moderately, not like not like excessive amounts that makes you feel so damn full to where you can't get up and it sedates you. And that's one reason. Another reason why is because, as I said, you'll be eliminating breakfast if you're willing and determined enough to implement and incorporate intermittent fasting. That's the second way. And the third way is you would eliminate snacks off your grocery list, which would save you a ton of money. Because I'll just throw some examples out there. Uh, Perhaps again, a preference that you could relate to, perhaps mine. You'd be saving money on Oreo cookies that I love to indulge in. You know, I would just eat it nonstop. I would easily go through a bag of potato chips in one sitting, an entire bag. I'm not talking about those grocery store bags that are about a pound. I'm talking about those economy size bags that you buy at Costco. But anyway, sorry for the digression again. You would save money on that, and you save money on Oreo cookies, Lay's potato chips, granola bars, even yogurt. Yogurt has high fructose because of sugar. You would save money on juices, whether if it's cranberry juice, grape juice, orange juice, even this so-called rich antioxidant acai berry juice, and I believe the brand was Sambason. And all these foods that I mentioned, really raised my insulin and caused me to be insulin resistant. And the reason why it did is because there's two things. these were foods that were not only high in the glycemic index, not only high in carbohydrates, but also high in sugar. And when I used to go to Costco, I just went ape. I went crazy. I mean, uh, I used to stock up on these acai berry juices that were 64 ounces. Uh, I used to buy them at $8 a bottle, 7.99 a bottle, more like. I used to purchase them uh, 4 bottles per month, which is what's God, I can't do the mathematics in my head. Which is 256 uh ounces. That's about. I used to stock up basically on 2 gallons of acai berry juice per month. And to tell you the truth, if you look on the back of the label for that type of juice, it's very high in sugar and in carbohydrates. And what I was also spending money on that was extremely costly, even at Costco, was honey. Now, last time I bought it, I don't know the price it is now for a large bottle of honey. And to make things worse, I didn't get the organic. I got the Kirkland Signature large bottle of honey. I believe at the time it was probably what, 16, $17. And what really caused me to be insulin resistant was that I was putting honey in just about every damn thing. And when I say that, here's a rundown of what everything I would put honey in a single day. First, I would put it in coffee. That's the first instance. Then I would put it in oatmeal, and then I would put it in my smoothie, and then I would put it in my coffee again. So I want you to notice that's 4 different times that I've included honey into my daily allowance. Now, according to the Kirkland Signature nutrition label for the honey, it's extremely high in carbohydrates. For every tablespoon is at least 17 grams of carbohydrates. So, what I want to emphasize is that I was putting 17 grams of carbohydrates based on what I told you 4 different times in 4 different meals or beverages. So, the point I'm ultimately indicating is the fact that not only was I creating insulin resistance for myself, but I was also blowing my money on a food that's high in the glycemic index and it was damaging my health. So not only was it costly out of my pocket, spending dollars wise, but it was also costly to my health. So there goes another way you would save money in this type of time that we're living in, struggling to pay for food, is going on the ketogenic diet. Because you see my point, you're starting to eliminate foods that you realize once you go on keto, your body does not need. Even the healthy foods, these cereal bars, the granola bars, these protein bars, and for you guys out there, whey protein powder, the juices that I mentioned, the yogurt, uh, the honey, because you come to the realization that after doing so much research and digging into what the ketogenic diet is, you realize that all those snacks that I mentioned above are high in the glycemic index, they're high in sugar, they're high in carbohydrates, they're refined, they're processed, and they're ultra processed. So just take comfort in knowing that scratching all these snacks off your grocery list will save you money when you're just spending your money more productively and wisely on cruciferous vegetables, more fattier meats, healthier foods, and not only will you be saving money, but after about a month or so being on a ketogenic diet intermittent fasting and following it correctly, you'll realize how much better you feel. You feel like you're in a much more positive mood, you're in a much better mood, happier mood. Why? Because you have more energy. Because you're ridding and you're disposing of all these bad carbohydrates that were in your system for a very long time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this even saves you money out of your pocket.